Okay, so for the critical components of behavior support plans, the first part is competing behavior pathway, and that is the first part of the template that I gave you. If you can look over here, it's under assignment rubric, the BSP template, and it's the very top part. Okay. All right, let's continue. Alright, so this is how it looks like, and this is the part that we're doing. Alright, so if you're developing a competing behavior pathway, we already have this area in the middle. Just let me get me set up here. Okay. So that's from the summary statement. We have the setting event, antecedent, behavior, and the consequence. So what do we want? So since we already have this, and this is what we want to change, we have to create an alternate pathway. We can have a new part, which is instead of after the antecedent, instead of the problem behavior, you have the desired behavior, and that desired behavior will have natural positive consequences. Okay, that they feel reinforcers that they feel they want to do that again. Right, but what we always want to start with is the alternative behavior that leads to the same consequence that they want. So what is the difference between desired and alternative behaviors? Well, desired behavior is the long-term goal. So follow classroom routines without problem behavior and with the minimal support. So that's what you really want. So that often requires teaching complex skills that a student is lacking, like academic skills, social communication skills, or organization skills. The alternative behavior is immediate attempt to reduce problem behavior. So it serves the same function as a problem behavior, but allows a team to implement support plans aimed at new teaching skills and increasing desired behaviors. So this should be a behavior that the student already engages in or can be quickly learned with minimal instruction. Okay, so for example, if a student is avoiding a task, right, by putting his head down or making a disruption. So instead of saying, okay, we want you to do the desired behavior, which is to sit down and do your work, they're not ready for it yet. They may not know how to do the work, or that work may be too hard for them. You want to do an alternative behavior that is not the problem behavior, but something that will be working towards the desired behavior. I'll give you an example. So here is our alternative behavior. Okay, so why not go straight to the desired behavior? Well, so first, this is what we're asking the student to do, which is write an independent writing task. And then this is what the student wants to do now, which is escape task. This is what I want them to do. This is what they want to do now. Okay. But look how different it is from what's happening now. The success is that teacher acknowledgement, so they're able to finish and complete. That's what we want them to feel, right? That's what we want them to want. We want them to want. We want them to want success and want teacher acknowledgement. But right now, what they want is escape. See how it's completely opposite? So in order for them to want success and teacher acknowledgement, the student is going to need to gain writing skills to be able to do this like the peers. They need to be able to complete writing tasks. But meantime, before they're able to do the writing task and be like their peers, they have to have an alternative behavior, which is, okay, since you're not, instead of crying and pushing paper off, we're going to raise our hand, ask for a break. Because if you raise your hand and ask for a break, then this is what they get, which is exactly the same thing as that problem behavior. So they're going to get what they want now. So later, for the long term, we're going to work towards this, being able to do the writing skills like the peers, so that they can get this, which is success and teacher acknowledgement. But we're going to start with success now. This is the easiest and minimal disruption, and we're asking to do something that they're probably going to be able to be successful in. So 3 characteristics of essential characteristics of alternative behavior. First, it serves the same function of the problem behavior. So if it's escape, they should be able to escape with that behavior. And the reliability results in the same type of consequence as the problem behavior. So because it serves the same function, the consequence will be the same. Also, it's easier to do than the problem behavior. So what does that mean? Well, it requires less from them, so they're more likely to do that than the problem behavior. And finally, it's socially acceptable. So it is something that is either a positive behavior or something that is acceptable in that environment. So we're showing them pro-social skills through that. Okay, so identifying appropriate alternative behavior. So what is, if we don't want them to engage in the problem behavior, what can we do? So let's look at it. So when Pam is asked to work on a long division problem in math class, she argues, refuses to work, and then uses profanity. Those are her behaviors in order to avoid or escape the difficult task. That's the function. So which is the best alternative behavior? So go ahead and stop the video and kind of go through these options and figure it out. Okay, so let's look. Move to sit by another student. Is that allowing them to escape the task? No. So we want to make sure that the alternative behavior gets the same function or the consequence. So that is not a good alternative behavior. Okay. Oops. All right, request adult attention. Again, it's not escaping the difficult task, so that's not a good alternative behavior. Ask for reward when completing a task. Again, that's not allowing them to escape. Request an easier task or worksheet, or ask if you can play on the computer instead. Alright, so both of them are able to avoid the task, what they're trying to do. Now, if you asked if she can play on the computer instead, yes, it's easier to do, and yes, it will be meeting that function, but is it appropriate? Is it socially appropriate? And it's not, because that is not appropriate for a class. So instead, what we want to do is have them ask for an easier task or worksheet. They're still able to avoid the long division problems, but instead they are able to do what is appropriate in that setting. Okay, so what are the 3 essential characteristics of alternative behavior? So we went through it. See if you can remember those 3. Go ahead and stop the video now. Alright, so let's see if you remembered. First is same function as a problem behavior. Second, it's easier to do than the problem behavior. And finally, it's socially acceptable within that environment. Okay, so we want to identify function-based behavior support strategies, which is the second part of the critical components of the BSP. Okay, and you can find that right over here, the second part of the first page of the BSP template. Okay, so in order for the team to identify the different strategies or interventions to address, they have to have these 3 parts, which is prevention. So to do the prevention, you have to figure out the settings and antecedents. And then you have the teaching. So how do you teach those behaviors? That's the alternate or the desired behavior. And then finally, the consequences. So if that doesn't happen, what will happen? Okay, so what will happen if you do the desired or the alternative behavior, and what will happen if you don't do it? Alright, so let's look. In order for you to come up with this, you have to consider the function of the problem of these behaviors, of their behaviors, to be able to select which strategies are most appropriate for prevention, teaching, and consequences. Okay, so why do we consider function? Well, it's a function-based strategy, right? FBA and the BIP or the BSP, they go together. So it directly addresses a function of the problem and are expected to improve behavior versus neutral strategies, which is unrelated to the function of the problem behavior. It might be a good behavior management strategy, but may or may not be effective in improving behavior. And so I'll talk about the difference between those two. What you want to avoid is the contraindicated strategies, which provide access to maintaining consequence following problem behavior, and it's likely to make the problem worse. Okay, so to identifying function-based intervention strategies, function-based strategies directly address the function of the behavior by, 1, providing a way to access the maintaining reinforcer by engaging in appropriate behavior, or preventing access to the reinforcer following problem behavior. So either way, it's talking specifically to their function. Okay, so let's talk about prevention strategies, which is the first part of your template. Okay, and so these strategies are to eliminate identify setting events. So if you can, you want to eliminate them, or you want to find a neutralizing routine that will diffuse the setting events. So neutralizing is a good strategy that may not be specific to the function, but in some cases it's necessary. All right, so setting events versus triggers. So setting events are something that indirectly or sets up the problem by temporarily altering the value of the maintaining consequence. So it's things that we talked about, like sleep or medication or food or parents fighting the next day. It's nothing that happens on a regular basis, but could also affect the consequence of what we want to happen. The antecedent is also known as a trigger. It happens right before the problem behavior. Okay, and the bonus question, what if the FBA information does not specify a setting event? Okay, what do you do then? All right. Well, even if it doesn't, then we need to look at the antecedents, and that weighs more anyway in terms of trying to figure out the function. Example, eliminating the setting events if the setting events are known. So when asked to write in his daily journal in first period, Sam is most likely to engage in escape-maintained problem behavior on days that he forgets to take his medication before school. So Sam's team members, including his parents, have decided that Sam will go to the school nurse's office each morning to take his medication. So by ensuring that Sam takes medication, the team will be eliminating the setting event. Okay? Alright, so when to ask to transition to a new activity, Charlie sometimes has tantrums, crying, screaming, flopping. The results in adult attention. This is most likely to occur when Charlie has not interacted with an adult for several minutes. So Charlie's team have decided that she will be given a class job which will require her to interact with staff frequently. It's still socially appropriate and it's a desired behavior, and then receive frequent intermediate teacher attention for appropriate and neutral behavior. Okay, so neutralizing routines, when we have the setting events here, it affects the antecedent, right? So the neutralizing routines diminishes the effect of setting events that has already occurred. So act as a separate event that occur between the setting event and the triggering antecedent. So with the medication, they were able to take away that setting event altogether, eliminating it by having him take the medication at school, so he will not have medication. So what happens with that is that setting event is eliminated. Neutralizing routines, we're going to add something in between that will neutralize what happened with the setting event. And again, the video is done, so go to video number 3. Thank you.